I never thought I'd be the one to destroy my family's happiness. Not that I meant to. I was just looking for the stupid tax forms my dad asked me to find. But sometimes the most life-changing moments happen when you're doing the most mundane things. My name is Alara, and until last Tuesday, I was just your average 16-year-old living in suburban Connecticut. Now I'm the keeper of a secret that feels like it's burning a hole through my chest. I was digging through Dad's home office, searching through the endless stacks of papers he keeps organized in his own chaotic way. Mom always teased him about his filing system, or lack thereof. The memory of their playful banter made me smile as I rifled through another drawer. That's when I found it. A cream-colored envelope, unsealed, with Dad's name written in handwriting I didn't recognize. I probably shouldn't have read it, but something about the way it was hastily stuffed behind other papers made my stomach twist. "Dear Ethan," it began. "I'm writing to warn you about what's been happening between Margot and Vincent." The words blurred as my hands started shaking. Vincent. Uncle Vincent, who wasn't really my uncle, but might as well have been. The same Vincent who'd been at every Christmas dinner, every summer barbecue, who taught me how to ride a bike when Dad was too busy with work. I forced myself to keep reading, even as bile rose in my throat. The letter was from Vincent's ex-wife, detailing a relationship that had apparently been going on for months. Years, actually. My mother and Vincent. The evidence was laid out in painful detail: secret meetings, hidden phone calls, plans they'd made. "Alara? Did you find those forms?" Dad's voice from downstairs made me jump. The letter crinkled in my trembling hands. "Still looking." I called back, hating how my voice cracked. I heard his footsteps on the stairs and quickly shoved the letter in my pocket. Dad appeared in the doorway, his usual tired smile in place. "Any luck?" "Nothing yet," I managed, turning back to the drawer. "Maybe we should try the filing cabinet?" He came to help me search, completely unaware that his whole world was about to implode. I watched him from the corner of my eye, this man who'd worked so hard to give us everything, who still looked at Mom like she hung the moon. "Found them," he announced triumphantly, pulling out a folder. "They were in the important stuff drawer all along." I forced a laugh. Of course they were. That night, I lay in bed staring at my ceiling, the letter hidden under my mattress like a ticking bomb. Mom was downstairs, probably texting Vincent while Dad watched the news. The thought made me sick. My phone buzzed, a text from Mom. "Don't forget, Vincent's coming over for dinner tomorrow. He's bringing that pasta sauce you love." I stared at the message until my vision blurred. Every memory of Vincent was being rewritten in my mind. All those times he'd shown up unexpectedly, all the work meetings with Mom, the way they'd laugh at inside jokes I never understood. Tomorrow. They wanted to play Happy Families tomorrow. Well, they could have their dinner. But I had other plans. That letter wasn't staying hidden any longer. Dad deserved to know the truth, and Mom needed to learn that actions have consequences. I rolled over, clutching my phone, and typed out a response. "Can't wait." For the first time since finding the letter, I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile, more like the kind you get when you know a storm is coming and you're the only one who brought an umbrella. Tomorrow would change everything. And maybe that's exactly what needed to happen. The guest room at Grandma Lila's house still smells like lavender and old books, exactly like it did when I was little. Back then, staying here meant weekend adventures and secret cookie baking sessions. Now it means our family is broken, and I'm the one who broke it. It's been 3 days since I showed Dad the letter. 3 days since Mom moved in with Vincent, leaving behind a house full of memories and a husband who hasn't spoken more than 10 words since. "Alara, sweetheart?" Grandma Lila's voice drifts up from downstairs. "Breakfast is ready." I drag myself down to the kitchen where Dad sits at the table, staring into his coffee like it holds the answers to the universe. He doesn't look up when I enter, just keeps stirring even though the coffee's long gone cold. Grandma slides a plate of French toast in front of me. "Your grandfather's picking up more of your things from the house today. Is there anything specific you need?" "My chemistry textbook," I mumble. "It's under my bed." Dad's spoon clinks against his cup. "I can get it. I need to stop by the house anyway." "Ethan," Grandma says softly. "Arthur can handle it." I said I'll do it. Dad's voice has that new edge to it, the one that appeared after that horrible dinner 3 nights ago. I push my French toast around the plate, remembering how it all went down. The letter burning a hole in my pocket through appetizers. Vincent's stupid pasta sauce bubbling on the stove. Mom's fake laugh at everything Vincent said. I waited until everyone was seated before I pulled out the letter. "Alara?" Grandma's voice pulls me back. "Your phone's been buzzing. 3 missed calls from Mom." 7 text messages. I swiped them away without reading them. She's trying to explain, Dad says suddenly, making both Grandma and me jump. As if there's any explanation that could make this okay. The doorbell rings, saving me from having to respond. Grandma hurries to answer it, but her sharp intake of breath tells me everything I need to know. Margot, she says, her voice cooling 20 degrees. This isn't a good time. Please, I need to see my daughter. Mom's voice cracks on the last word. Alara? Honey, are you there? I'm frozen in my chair, but Dad isn't. He's already moving, placing himself between me and the door like a shield. You don't get to just show up here, he says, and I've never heard him sound so cold. Not after what you did. What I did. Mom's voice rises. What about what she did? Our 16-year-old daughter deliberately set up that dinner to humiliate me. To humiliate you? The words burst out of me before I can stop them. I'm on my feet now, moving toward the door. You've been lying to us for years. You and Vincent. Vincent and I love each other, Mom interrupts. Sometimes things aren't as simple as they seem, Alara. You're too young to understand. I understand perfectly, I snap. I understand that you chose him over us. That every memory I have of him being part of our family was just, what? Cover for your affair. Mom flinches like I've slapped her. That's not fair. Vincent cares about you, he always has. Get out. Dad's voice is quiet but final. You can have your lawyer contact mine about visitation. Ethan, please. I said get out. The silence after Mom leaves is deafening. I stand there, shaking, until Grandma's arms wrap around me. Dad turns away, grabbing his keys. I'm going to get your textbook, he says, and then he's gone too. Later, I find a note slipped under the front door. Mom's handwriting, asking me to meet her for coffee tomorrow. Just us, no Vincent. She says she wants to explain everything. I crumple the note, then smooth it out again. Part of me wants to ignore it, to punish her like she punished us. But another part remembers the crack in her voice, the desperation in her eyes. Maybe I'll go. Not for her, but for me. Because I need answers, and maybe I need to understand how someone can destroy everything they love and still think they're doing the right thing. I tuck the note in my pocket. Tomorrow will bring what it brings. For now, I have French toast to finish and a chemistry textbook to wait for. The coffee shop Mom picked feels too bright, too normal for the conversation we're about to have. She's already there when I arrive, sitting at a corner table with 2 steaming mugs. No Vincent in sight, at least. I ordered your usual, she says as I slide into the seat across from her. Caramel macchiato, extra shot. I drink Americanos now. I lie just to see her face fall. Small victories feel important these days. Mom fidgets with her napkin, folding and unfolding it. How's school? Really? That's what you want to talk about? She sighs. I'm trying, Alara. I know you're angry. I'm not angry. I cut her off. I'm disgusted. There's a difference. A couple at the next table glances over. Mom lowers her voice. Vincent and I. It's complicated. We never meant to hurt anyone. That worked out great. He makes me happy, she says, like that explains everything. Your father and I, we stopped making each other happy years ago. You were too young to notice. I noticed plenty. My hands clench around the mug. I noticed how Dad worked late because you said we needed the money. Was that even true? Or were you just using those nights to meet Vincent? Mom's face goes pale. That's not fair. What's not fair is finding out my whole life was a lie. I pull out my phone, opening the banking app I'd discovered yesterday. Speaking of lies, want to explain this? I slide the phone across the table. Mom's eyes widen as she sees Vincent's name on the overdrawn account statements, the multiple loan applications, the credit card debt. Where did you get this? Vincent really should change his passwords. Using my birthday was pretty stupid, considering he's trying to replace my dad. He's not. Mom stops, staring at the screen. This must be a mistake. Vincent's business is doing well, he told me. He told you what you wanted to hear. I take my phone back. Did you know he's been taking out loans against his house? The house you just moved into. The color drains from Mom's face. How did you? I did some digging. Turns out Uncle Vincent isn't the successful businessman he pretends to be. More like a guy drowning in debt who found himself a lifeline. You. That's ridiculous, Mom says, but her voice wavers. Vincent loves me. Maybe. Or maybe he loves your teacher's pension and the equity in your house. I lean forward. Have you signed anything for him yet? Any loans? Joint accounts. The way she won't meet my eyes tells me everything. Oh, Mom, I whisper. What did you do? It was just to help with some temporary cash flow issues, she says quickly. He'll pay it back. He promised. Like he promised his ex-wife? The one who wrote that letter to Dad. I pull out another piece of paper, an email I'd printed. I found her, by the way. Turns out Vincent has a pattern. Meet someone successful, move in, drain their accounts, move on. Mom's hands are shaking so badly she knocks over her coffee. As she scrambles for napkins, I notice something else, a bruise on her wrist, partially hidden by her sleeve. My stomach drops. Did he do that to you? What? No. She pulls her sleeve down. I bumped into a door. The oldest excuse in the book. Suddenly, my carefully planned revenge doesn't seem so satisfying anymore. Mom, I say quietly, you need to come home. I can't. Her voice breaks. I made my choice. I have to live with it. No, you don't. I reach across the table, taking her trembling hands in mine. Dad's angry, but he'd never want this. Come stay with Grandma and Grandpa. We can figure it out. For a moment, I see hope flicker in her eyes. Then her phone buzzes, Vincent's name on the screen. The hope dies. I have to go, she says, standing abruptly. He's waiting. I watch her hurry out, hugging herself against the cold. My plan was supposed to be about justice, about making her feel as betrayed as we did. Instead, I'm terrified I've pushed her further into danger. Time for a new plan. One that isn't about revenge anymore, but rescue. The custody papers arrive on a Tuesday morning, like a bomb wrapped in legal letterhead. I find Dad at the kitchen table, staring at them while Grandma hovers nearby, her face tight with worry. She can't be serious, I say, scanning the documents. She wants me to live with her and Vincent. Dad's knuckles are white around his coffee mug. Her lawyer says she has a strong case. Primary caregiver, stable teaching job, new house. New house bought with stolen money. I mutter, but stop when I see Dad's expression. I haven't told him about Vincent's financial schemes yet. Haven't told anyone except Mom. The doorbell rings. Grandma answers it, and suddenly Mom's in our kitchen, looking smaller than I remember. No Vincent this time either. We need to talk, she says. All of us. About how you're trying to take my daughter? Dad stands up so fast his chair scrapes across the floor. About how Vincent's not who any of us thought he was. Mom's voice shakes. She pulls up her sleeve, revealing more bruises. And about how I need help. The kitchen goes silent. Dad's face changes from anger to something else. The same protective look he used to get when I'd fall off my bike as a kid. I'll put on more coffee, Grandma says quietly, giving us space. The custody filing wasn't my idea, Mom continues. Vincent. He said it was the only way to keep our family together. His family, he meant. He needs. She stops, swallowing hard. Your money, I finish. I tried to tell you. Dad looks between us. What money? What's going on? I pull out my phone, showing him what I found. As he scrolls through the evidence, Mom sinks into a chair, tears falling. He convinced me to refinance my house, she whispers. Said it was temporary, just until his business deals came through. Then yesterday, I found out he's been talking to real estate agents about selling it. Without telling me. That's not all, I say. Show them your bank statements, Mom. She pulls up her banking app. Dad and Grandma lean in, watching as she scrolls through transaction after transaction. Money moving from her accounts to Vincent's. Always with some plausible explanation attached. Jesus, Margot, Dad breathes. How much has he taken? Almost everything, she admits. My savings, my retirement fund. I was so stupid. You weren't stupid, I say, surprising myself. You were manipulated. Like his ex-wife. Like the others. Others. Dad and Mom ask simultaneously. I hesitate, then pull out the final piece of evidence, printouts of police reports and newspaper articles from 3 different states. Different names, same story. Vincent Hale, or Vincent Hayes, or Vincent Harper moving in with successful women, draining their accounts. Disappearing when the money ran out. Ilara, Mom says, how did you find all this? I'm good with computers, I shrug. And apparently Vincent's terrible at covering his tracks. We need to go to the police, Dad says, but Mom shakes her head frantically. He'll know it was me. He said if I ever. She touches her bruises unconsciously. Then we do this smart, Grandma speaks up from the counter. We all turn to look at her. We get evidence, we get lawyers, and we get you somewhere safe first. Together. Together? Mom echoes uncertainly, looking at Dad. He's quiet for a long moment, then nods. Together. Whatever happened between us. This is different. This is about keeping our family safe. I watch my parents share a look. Not of love or even forgiveness yet, but of understanding. Of shared purpose. My phone buzzes. a text from Vincent. Coming over to discuss custody arrangements. Hope you're ready to be part of a real family. I show it to the others. Mom's face goes pale, but Dad straightens up, protective mode fully engaged. Let him come, I say, feeling stronger than I have in weeks. He wants to play family? Let's show him what a real family does when one of their own is threatened. For the first time since this whole mess started, I see something like hope in Mom's eyes. And something like pride in Dad's. Vincent shows up at Grandma's house exactly when he said he would, wearing that fake smile I've grown to hate. Dad and Grandma have taken Mom upstairs, out of sight, while I sit in the living room, pretending everything's normal. There's my girl, Vincent says, spreading his arms like he expects a hug. When I don't move, he drops them, but keeps smiling. Your mother's worried about you, you know. Is that why you're pushing for custody? I keep my voice steady, remembering the police reports I'd found. 3 other families destroyed. 3 other daughters who probably sat just like this, facing him across their living rooms. We want what's best for you. He sits down uninvited. Your mother's not thinking clearly right now. All this stress with the divorce. She needs our support. Our support or her money? His smile flickers. I don't know what you think you know. I know about Janet Peterson in Oregon, I say, watching his face. And Sarah Collins in Michigan. And especially about Rebecca Martinez in Florida. The mask slips completely. You've been digging into my personal business? Someone had to. I pull out my phone, opening the recording app. Tell me, do you always target teachers? Or was Mom just convenient because she was already married to someone successful? Vincent stands up so fast the coffee table rattles. You're making dangerous accusations, Alara. Very dangerous. Like the accusations your ex-wife made? Before she mysteriously dropped the charges. He takes a step toward me, and I fight the urge to back away. You're just like your father, aren't you? Always thinking you're so clever. But you have no idea what you're dealing with. Actually, I do. I turn my phone screen toward him, showing the live stream that's been running since he arrived. Say hi to Dad's lawyer. And the police. Vincent lunges for the phone, but I'm already moving. In the kitchen, Dad and 2 police officers step through the back door. Upstairs, I hear Mom crying. Vincent Hale, one officer says, we'd like to ask you some questions about several financial fraud cases. This is ridiculous, Vincent sputters. Alara, tell them. Tell them what? I stand straighter. About the bruises on Mom's arms? Or about how you've been forging her signature on loan documents? His face contorts. You little. Choose your next words carefully, Dad says quietly, stepping between us. They're all being recorded. The officers move forward with handcuffs. Vincent's mask cracks completely, revealing something ugly underneath. You think this changes anything? Your precious family's still broken. I made sure of that. No. Mom's voice comes from the stairs. She looks terrified but determined. You didn't break us. You just showed us what we're fighting for. As the police lead Vincent away, I notice my hands are shaking. Mom comes down slowly, Dad moving to support her. Grandma appears with tea and tissues, ever practical. Are you okay? Dad asks Mom softly. She shakes her head. No, but I will be. She turns to me. Alara, I'm so sorry. For everything. Don't, I say. Not yet. We need to focus on fixing things first. Starting with your house and accounts. Dad's lawyer steps forward with a stack of papers. We've already filed emergency orders to freeze the suspicious transactions. But Mrs. Monroe, we'll need your full cooperation. You'll have it, Mom says firmly. Whatever it takes to make this right. I watch my parents working together, heads bent over legal documents, and feel something shift inside me. This morning, I thought exposing Vincent would feel like victory. Instead, it feels like the first step on a much longer road. My phone buzzes, a text from Vincent's daughter in Florida. Thank you for stopping him. I wish I'd been brave enough. I look at Mom, who's finally letting Dad see her bruises. At Dad, who's holding her hand like he's afraid she'll disappear. At Grandma, who's already planning dinner like this is just another Tuesday. Maybe that's what real bravery is, not the big confrontations, but the small moments of choosing to rebuild instead of destroy. Of fighting for family, even when it's broken. I text back. It wasn't bravery. It was family. Then I join my parents at the table, ready to start putting our pieces back together. The jail visiting room smells like despair and cheap coffee. Vincent sits across from me, orange jumpsuit clashing with his usually perfect appearance. He's been here for 2 weeks, and somehow he still manages to smile like he's winning. I was wondering when you'd come, he says. Your mother sends her love. My hands clench under the table. Mom hasn't spoken to you since the arrest. Try again. No. He leans forward. Then why did she visit yesterday? Why did she cry when I explained how this is all just a misunderstanding? My stomach drops. He's lying. He has to be lying. But there's something in his expression that makes me check my phone. 3 missed calls from Mom's lawyer. A text from Dad. We need to talk. What did you do? I ask, fighting to keep my voice steady. I reminded her of what we had. What we could still have. He shrugs. Margot's always been emotionally vulnerable. Easy to guide back to the right path. The right path? You stole everything from her. Did I? His smile turns predatory. Or did I show her how to live again? Ask her about the letters she wrote me. The ones where she talks about how suffocated she felt in her perfect little family. How she dreamed of escaping. My phone buzzes again. This time it's from Mom. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I had to tell the truth. What truth? I whisper, but Vincent's already sliding a paper across the table. A signed statement from Mom, recanting her accusations. Claiming she authorized all the financial transactions. Taking full responsibility. She's protecting you. I say, but my voice wavers. Is she? Or is she finally admitting what she's known all along? That she chose me? That she's still choosing me? The guard calls time. Vincent stands, straightening his jumpsuit like it's one of his expensive suits. Tell your father I say hello. Oh, and Alara? Check your mother's bank accounts. The new ones, not the ones you froze. I race out of the jail, calling Dad. It goes to voicemail. I try Grandma next, my hands shaking so badly I can barely hold the phone. Alara? Grandma answers on the first ring. Where are you? Your mother's here, she's talking about dropping the charges. Don't let her leave. I'm already running to my car. Vincent's manipulating her again. He's got her believing. It's too late. Grandma cuts me off. She left 10 minutes ago. With her passport and the papers from the safe. I slam on the brakes, nearly hitting a parked car. What papers? The deed to the house. Your father's business documents. Everything. My world tilts sideways. All our work, all the evidence we gathered, all the careful plans to protect Mom. Unraveling because Vincent still has his hooks in her. Because maybe he always did. I drive to Mom's new apartment, the one Dad helped her rent after everything fell apart. It's empty. Drawers pulled open, closets bare. On the kitchen counter, a note in her handwriting. I thought I could be strong enough to fight him. But he knows me better than I know myself. Maybe he always did. I'm sorry, Alara. Some people aren't meant to be saved. My phone lights up with notifications. Bank alerts. Mom's accessing accounts we didn't even know existed. Transferring money. Buying plane tickets. Dad calls finally. The lawyer says we can't stop her. She's recanted everything. Without her testimony. Vincent wins, I finish. The words taste like ash. I sink to the kitchen floor, surrounded by the remnants of Mom's half-packed life. All my clever plans, all my evidence and recordings and careful traps. Worthless because I underestimated Vincent's hold on her. Because I thought love could overcome manipulation. My phone buzzes one last time. A text from Vincent's daughter in Florida. Don't give up. My mom came back eventually. But first she had to hit rock bottom. Rock bottom. Is that where we are now? Or is there still further to fall? I look at Mom's note again, at the trembling in her usually steady handwriting. Maybe Vincent thinks he's won. Maybe Mom thinks she's lost. But I'm not done fighting. Not while there's still something left to save. Even if what needs saving most is Mom from herself. The call comes at 3 a.m., 2 months after Mom disappeared. An unknown number from Mexico. Help me. Mom's voice is barely a whisper. He's coming back. I'm already tracking the call, fingers flying over my laptop keyboard. Where are you? Some motel outside Puerto Vallarta. Alara, I was so stupid. The money's gone. All of it. A door slams in the background. Mom's breath catches. I have to go. Mom, wait. The line goes dead. Dad finds me in the kitchen 20 minutes later, booking flights on my laptop. I found her, I say before he can speak. But we have to move fast. He doesn't argue, doesn't remind me I'm supposed to be in school tomorrow. Just nods and makes calls to his lawyer, to the police, to the private investigator we hired. 12 hours later, we're pulling up to a rundown motel that smells like sea salt and desperation. Room 114, according to the GPS trace on Mom's phone. Stay in the car, Dad says. Not a chance. The door's already open when we reach it. Inside, the room looks like a war zone, drawers emptied, clothes scattered everywhere. On the bed, Mom's phone lies cracked and dark. Check the bathroom, Dad says quietly. I push the door open and my heart stops. Mom's curled in the bathtub shaking. Her face is bruised, but her eyes are clear for the first time in months. I'm sorry, she whispers. I'm so sorry. Dad moves past me, wrapping her in his jacket. Can you walk? A voice from the doorway freezes us all. She's not going anywhere. Vincent stands there, looking nothing like the polished businessman who charmed his way into our lives. His eyes are wild, desperate. It's over, I say, stepping between him and my parents. The police are already on their way. He laughs, harsh and hollow. You think that matters? Your mother signed everything over to me. Voluntarily. And when she disappeared with all that money. He shrugs. Well, who do you think they'll believe? Show them, Mom says suddenly. Alara, my phone. The recordings. Vincent moves faster than I expected, lunging for the phone on the bed. But I'm faster, diving past him. My fingers close around it just as he grabs my ankle. Let her go. Dad charges forward, but Vincent's already pulling me back, using me as a shield. Nobody moves, Vincent snarls. Or your precious daughter. The taser hits him from behind. Vincent crumples, revealing Mom standing there, holding the weapon with shaking hands. I bought it the day I left, she says. I knew eventually I'd need it. Police sirens wail in the distance. Dad hurries to secure Vincent while I help Mom sit down. She clutches her phone, pulling up hidden files. I recorded everything, she says. Every threat, every manipulation. I was so ashamed, so scared to show anyone. But I kept recording, even after I left. Even after he took everything. Because deep down, I knew someday I'd need to prove what really happened. I hold her as she cries, watching Dad direct the police to Vincent's unconscious form. Watching them collect Mom's phone, her evidence, her truth. Later, in the hospital where they're checking Mom's injuries, Dad brings us both coffee. The police found the money, he says. Most of it, anyway. In accounts under his other aliases. I don't care about the money, Mom says softly. I just want to come home. If you'll let me. Dad's quiet for a long moment. It won't be easy. There's a lot to work through. I know. Mom looks at me. But maybe we can start with therapy? All of us. I think about everything that's happened. About revenge turning to rescue. About hate turning to healing. About how sometimes the hardest person to save is yourself. Yeah, I say, taking both their hands. We can start there. Outside, the Mexican sun sets over the ocean, painting everything in new colors. Tomorrow will bring lawyers and statements and hard conversations. But for now, in this moment, we're just a family finding our way back to each other. One piece at a time. A year later, I'm packing for college when Mom knocks on my bedroom door. She looks different now, stronger but softer too. The therapy helped, I think. It helped all of us. I have something for you, she says, holding out a leather-bound journal. I started writing it the day after Mexico. I take it, feeling its weight. What is it? Everything I couldn't say out loud. Everything I should have said years ago. She sits on my bed, touching an old family photo on my nightstand. In it, we're all at the beach before everything fell apart. You don't have to read it now. Maybe save it for when you're ready. Dad appears in the doorway, carrying another box labeled dorm stuff. He hesitates like he still does sometimes when he sees Mom in our house. But then he smiles and it reaches his eyes. Your grandmother's made enough food to feed your entire freshman class, he says. We should head down before she adds another casserole. The kitchen is chaos. Grandma directing Grandpa like a military operation, the table loaded with food and memories. I watch my parents navigate around each other, not quite touching but not avoiding either. They're different too. Careful. Honest. Real. Before we eat, Mom says suddenly, there's something else. She pulls out an envelope. It's from Vincent's daughter in Florida. My hands shake slightly as I open it. Inside is a newspaper clipping about Vincent's sentencing, 15 years for fraud and assault. But there's also a letter and a photo of a smiling teenage girl with other survivors of Vincent's schemes. We started a support group, the letter reads, for families healing from people like him. Your story helped us find our voices. Thank you for showing us that sometimes the best revenge is refusing to let someone else write your ending. I look up to find everyone watching me. I'm okay, I say, and for the first time in forever, it feels completely true. Later, after dinner, I find Dad in his office, staring at Mom's journal on his desk. She gave me one too, he says quietly. I haven't opened it yet. Are you going to? He runs his fingers over the cover. Eventually, when it feels right, he looks at me. When you found that first letter, I thought our family was over. But maybe it was just beginning. Beginning what? Being real with each other. Even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. I think about the support group photo, all those families putting themselves back together differently. Better, maybe, because now they know what they're fighting for. Mom joins us, carrying coffee. She doesn't flinch anymore when Dad takes his cup, doesn't hide behind fake smiles or easy answers. They're learning a new dance, these parents of mine. Slower. More honest. I got accepted to the counseling program, I tell them. For next semester. Are you sure? Mom asks. After everything. Because of everything. I correct her. Someone needs to help other families find their way back. Dad reaches for Mom's hand, and she lets him take it. It's a small gesture, but a year ago it would have been impossible. I slip the journal into my college box, next to the photo of us at the beach. Maybe I'll read it tomorrow, or next week, or next year. Maybe some stories need time to settle before they can be fully understood. Outside, the summer sun sets on my last night home. Tomorrow I'll leave for college, carrying these lessons like landmarks. That love can break you and heal you. That forgiveness isn't a destination but a daily choice. That sometimes the family you save isn't just your own. I watch my parents standing together in the fading light, not touching but connected, and I think about endings and beginnings. About how sometimes they're the same thing, depending on how you tell the story. And I know whatever comes next, we'll face it together. Broken, healing, real. Just like family should be.